Okay, hello. So you probably heard of Microsoft Excel. It's a spreadsheet software where you can basically do a lot of calculations and a lot of things you would normally find in a spreadsheet. Um, but you can also use Microsoft Excel to create some pretty interesting things like this little game that I made right here. This is basically a little chance game where it's me versus the computer, and it's gonna pick a number between 1 and 6 because that's how many numbers are on each die. And from there, it's going to give out an output, and whoever scores higher wins, basically. So in this case, I win because my total number is higher than the computer's. But you see, you can also there's also a thing where you can randomize each outcome using the software. So if I press F9, you can see the numbers are changing, right? Keep pressing F9 eventually. Yeah, okay. So this is another outcome. So this is when me and the computer are tied. And if I do this a little more, yeah, now you see the computer wins because the total number is higher than mine's. So what's going on here? Well, basically, if I show the formula over here, you can see there's a lot more going on here. There's a formula that calculates, or it gives a random number, and there's another that basically tells you which outcome is going to appear. And this one right here is just a sum of these two. So I'm gonna show you how to make this little game so you can just try it out for yourself. So here you go. I kind of already started this already. So there's me and the computer. So I'm just gonna format this a little bit. So let's say die number 1. Okay, and you can drag this field handle here just to make it a little faster. But so now you're probably wondering, how do you make these formulas? How do you make a random number? So there's this formula called rand between right here, rand between, and it's gonna give you this open parentheses here, and in it you can type any number range you want. So if I want to say 10 to 100, now in between these two numbers you have to put a comma. So it's going to tell Excel, hey, I want to calculate between 10 and 100. So then you close the formula, or the function, sorry, and it's going to bring out this. It's just a random number. If I press F9, it's going to keep randomizing it for, basically infinity. Now, the thing is, if I keep updating, so if I just type in a random letter here, you see it's going to keep updating, and it's going to get a little annoying when you're trying to work in Excel. So there's this thing called calculation options. It's right up here. If you go to formulas, you click on calculation options. Now there's automatic except for data tables, and this is manual. Now for the sake of this, you want to click on manual. Now this is basically going to not make Excel update its calculations every time you put in like a random, or you just update anything on the spreadsheet. So if I now type in a letter, see the number stays the same. It's not going to update unless I press F9. So in this case, yeah, it updates. So it's pretty useful. So I'm just gonna delete this real quick because there's gonna be a little thing here. So there's gonna be a die 1 and die 2. Now typically there are only 6 numbers on a die, so naturally it's gonna be between 1 and 6, right? And I'm just gonna drag this out so it's a little faster. You can use a field handle to do some pretty cool stuff. I press F9, and you see they start randomizing. I'm just gonna do this. So yeah, there you go. Now that's a little nicer to look at. Now let's see, how do you do the total, right? So you want to combine the value of these two dices to bring your score. Let's do this instead. So that's a little too bright. There you go, that's better. So now, how do you do this? Well, there's another formula. I keep saying formula, but it's actually called a function. So it's another function called sum. Now it's kind of self-explanatory. It just combines, you know, a set or what you describe into, you know, a number basically. So if I want to combine the numbers in these two cells, I can just click on B1, and I can do plus, and another one, and I can close the parentheses. So then now it's going to bring out the total. So 1 plus 2 is equal to 3. That's right. If I keep switching, now it's going to update it based on the numbers on these two die options here. So you see, that's the number. And I can just drag this down to bring out the same result. There you go. And you can see it, since I dragged it down, it copied the exact value. So it's not exactly accurate now. 2 plus 4 does not equal 9. So if I randomize it just one more time, you see here, now it updates. So I can keep doing this forever and ever. Now you want to ask, now naturally you want to know who wins the game, right? So if I just do this here, I like my colors here. So who wins, right? This little blue box is gonna say if me or the computer won. Now there are 3 options here, right? There are 3 possible outcomes. It's either I win, having the higher number, I lose for the computer having the higher number, or we both tie. So to do that, you're going to be doing a thing called an if statement. Now the if statement, so you start off with equals if, and in the parentheses, you're going to, the if statement is it's a little complicated, so just bear with me a little bit. So the if statement is basically determining different outcomes based on like certain conditions. So if I want to say that I win, first you're gonna have to check if like a certain cell is greater than another cell. So in this case, it's D2 and D3. So if D2, if D2 is greater than D3, right? Then you're gonna have to say something like, I win, right? Now here's the thing. Since it has 3 outcomes, we're gonna have to do another step, and this is something called a nested if. So to do that, you'll have to add a comma right here, and another if right here. So this is basically an if statement inside of another if statement. That makes sense. So now I can type in if, and now it's gonna bring out we're gonna have to do another outcome. So if D2 is equal to D3, because that's a possible outcome, right? So you put another comma here, and you say, oh, we tied, right? And the thing is, Excel is checking for if the outcome in the like the innermost parentheses is it checks for the innermost parentheses first, and when it calculates that, it's going to take that formula or that result and calculate it with the more outer parentheses. So if I don't have to include another if to say, oh, we lost. I can just say, oh, I lost, right? Or in this case, I can just say computer wins. So now I can just close it, but this time I have to close it with 2 parentheses because, you can't have one parentheses left open like that. So if I press enter, now it's going to display the correct option. So if I press F9 again, yeah, see, I keep winning. Oh, there you go. Computer wins. There you go. So now computer wins because the number is higher than mine's. So that's basically how you create this. That's pretty simple. Just gonna keep going until we tie. There you go. We tied. Yeah, you see? Oh, we got the exact same numbers, the exact same dice. It's crazy. Alright, well, yeah, that's basically how you create this tiny game. Hope